For example, vencer. The yo form is venso, so it would be venzamos. For ser verbs, in the present tense yo form, the C changes to ZCO. For example, traducir. Okay, the yo form is traduzco, so it would be traduzcamos.
Mandatos de nosotros. Irregulares. The irregulars follow the rules of dishes. So, dar would be demos, ir would be vayamos, ser would be seamos, haber would be hayamos, estar would be estemos, and saber sepamos. Now for the reflexives, they're a little odd. If you watch Dora the Explorer, you know what I'm talking about. When she says, "Come on, vamonos, everybody, let's go." Vamonos is actually a nosotros command. So Dora is actually commanding us to go. So Dora's quite sassy, actually. So you would drop the S and add the nos at the end of the verb. For example, sentarse. Regularly, it would conjugate to nos sentamos, but in a mandato form, it would be sentámonos. Congratulations! You now know how to conjugate for mandatos de nosotros irregulares.
Now we'll do some practice with nosotros commands. Number 1. Cuando llegamos a la escuela, let's run a nuestras clases. Porque no quiero llegar tarde. The appropriate verb in this sentence is correr, and the verb is affirmative. So we know that the E in correr changes to an A, and then we conjugate normally. The answer is cuando llegamos a la escuela, corramos a nuestras clases porque no quiero llegar tarde. Número 2. Para ganar mucho dinero, let's work por muchas horas. The appropriate verb in this sentence is trabajar, and the verb is affirmative. We know that the A in trabajar changes to an E when we conjugate the verb. The answer is para ganar mucho dinero, trabajemos por muchas horas. Número 3. Estamos tomando un examen. No, let's talk cuando personas están pensando. The verb appropriate in this sentence is hablar, and the command is negative. So we conjugate normally, but we remember that the A changes to E. The answer is estamos tomando un examen. No hablemos cuando personas están pensando. Número 4. Todos los días, Dora la exploradora dice, let's solve el problema. The appropriate verb in this sentence is resolver, and it's an affirmative command, and the E in resolver changes to an A when we conjugate the verb. The answer is todos los días, Dora la exploradora dice, resolvamos el problema. Número 5. Let's eat en el restaurante sofisticado anoche. The verb in this sentence is comer, and it's an affirmative command. So the E in comer changes to an A. When conjugated, The sentence reads, comamos en el restaurante sofisticado anoche. Número 6. Let's practice para el campeonato de fútbol. The appropriate verb in this sentence is practicar, and it is an affirmative command. So, this verb has a change in it that's slightly different than the other verbs, but it's still regular. So the A changes to a UE when we conjugate the verb. Practiquemos para el campeonato de fútbol. Here we have the K sound that we're looking for. Número 7. No let's tolerate más. Su comportamiento es horrible. The verb appropriate here is aguantar, and is a negative command. So the A in aguantar changes to an E when we conjugate for the nosotros command. The answer is no aguantemos más. Su comportamiento es horrible. Número 8. Let's give todo el dinero a nuestros amigos. The appropriate verb in this situation is dar. Dar is part of the dish's irregular verbs. The nosotros form of the verb is demos, just as one would assume, because affirmative nosotros commands are not irregular ever. So despite the fact that dar is part of dishes, it's just what you would assume. And then the verb is negative, so the resulting sentence is no demos todo el dinero a nuestros amigos. Número 9. Let's get dressed ahora. Necesitamos ir al cine. The appropriate verb in this situation is vestirse. Vestirse is a reflexive verb and affirmative, meaning that the se ending remains at the end of the verb after it is conjugated appropriately. Remember to change the E at the beginning to an I, like the yo form, visto, and use amos instead of imos at the end. Drop the S in amos and add nos to make it reflexive. The sentence should read, Vistámonos ahora. Necesitamos ir al cine. It disappeared.
Mixed practice for Vosotros and Nosotros commands. In this practice, we'll review positive, negative, reflexive, and regular Vosotros and Nosotros commands. Let's begin. If you wanted to say, let's go al cine, you would say vamos al cine because for Nosotros commands, you take the yo form, in this case voy, and for this verb ir, it's different, and you still add amos because it is an IR verb. If you'd want to say, y'all clean vuestros dormitorios, you would say limpiar, because for vosotros positive commands, you take the infinitive of the verb, limpiar, lose the R, and add a D. If you want to say, let's fall asleep, tengo sueño, you would use the verb dormirse. This verb is an IR stem changer, so you would change the O to a U, and add the reflexive nos on the end, and add the emphasis on the A. So the answer is durmámonos. If you'd want to say, y'all don't bother him, que horrible, you would use a negative command by using no, then the yo form of molestar, molesto, then take off the O, add ace, because it is an AR verb. So the answer is, no molestáis a él, que horrible. If you need to say, let's not be antisimpáticos a ella, you would use a negative nosotros command. Ser is also irregular and is a part of the dishes group, so you would want to use no seamos antisimpáticos. If you would like to say, y'all get dressed ahora, you would take the infinitive of the verb, vestirse, and since it is reflexive, you'd use the infinitive minus the R, add os, so it is vestidos, with an accent over the I. When saying, let's not eat este comida basura, you would use the negative yo command form of comer. take off the O